Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Project Gaia. JP here, and today we are in a very interesting place. We are in Sleepy Hollow, New York. Now, this little town is only about an hour north of Manhattan, so the Manhattan, New York City, right? But it has a fascinating history. It was founded in the mid-1600s, and it's most notable for the legend of Sleepy Hollow, so the Headless Horseman. So it is a Halloween destination. We are here the Saturday before Halloween, so it is truly bumping. There's people everywhere, and there is a lot of Halloween tourism. So what we're going to do on this tour is I'm going to show you the best things to do and see while you're here in Sleepy Hollow, show you some of its historical sites and what makes it such an interesting Halloween destination. So let's begin. Now, Sleepy Hollow is a Halloween destination, right? And if you come here in October on a weekend, like we are now, we're here on a Saturday, there is a farmer's market just south of Sleepy Hollow. It's technically in Tarrytown, but it's like walking distance. And here they have tons of things you could buy, food, little goods. There's like a band. It's in something called Patriot's Park. So it's a beautiful park. Definitely check this out when you're here. Just, stroll around here, see if there's anything you like. There's lots of different foods, artisanal crafts, things like that. Before the Headless Horseman, there was the Gatekeeper, a silent figure who guarded the cemetery gates at night. Locals say he never spoke, just watched, and we passed what's believed to be his house, but it's funny because it's actually lived in. Just beyond the Gatekeeper's path stands the Old Dutch Church, the oldest church in New York, built in 1685. Washington Irving placed it right at the heart of the legend of Sleepy Hollow, and when you step inside, you understand why. The wooden pews creak, the air is still, and the light hits the stone walls like a memory. This wasn't just a church, it was a landmark in colonial America, and today it feels more like a portal than a place. Time doesn't move the same in here, and neither does the silence. So once you exit the Old Dutch Church, you're going to want to check out the cemetery around the church. Now, this is called Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, and it houses some very old graves, many from the late 17th and early 18th century. There's some newer ones throughout here as well. Also, too, Washington Irving, the author of the legend of Sleepy Hollow, is buried here, as well as Andrew Carnegie and some other famous people. So definitely check out the grounds, look at some of the old graves, and it really gives you that Halloween kind of creepy vibe. Now, what's interesting is many of the graves, the wording on the grave is completely erased just due to erosion and time. So those usually are the older ones, and you see a lot of them here, over 200 to 300 years old. Now, I find that the ones that are from about 1800 and beyond, you could still kind of see some faint remains of the engravings. So that leads me to believe that any that don't have wording on them, any engravings, are older than that. So, from the late 1600s to the early to mid 1700s. So there are a lot of old graves here. And it's kind of interesting because, these people's story is a bit lost to time, right? They've been dead for over 300 years. And even their grave, the engravings have worn away. But you could search. You could search the records. I mean, there are records of these people's lives, right? Another thing that's fascinating is if you're an older American, meaning, your ancestors came here in the early part of American immigration, say, pre-1800, the way genealogy works is that it's exponential, right? So your ancestor could actually be buried in this very cemetery, right? Because as it goes, you know, you have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, right? So it just keeps going and going. So if you go over hundreds of years, likely one of your ancestors might be here. So if you're interested in genealogy, this is a cool place to search as well. So as you're exploring all the tombs, all the interesting graves, all the famous people's final resting place, you're going to notice that you keep climbing up, right? And at the northern end of the cemetery, you're quite high up, and you actually get fantastic views of the Hudson River and the Hudson Valley below. So definitely check that out when you're here. It's very peaceful, it's very beautiful, and it's very interesting. So one thing that you want to check out when you're here in Sleepy Hollow is the Philipsburg Manor. Now what this is it's a historic kind of town. This is the kind of historic center of Sleepy Hollow. So it has a lot of old buildings, and if you come outside of Halloween, there's a classic tour. You have to take a tour. You can't just wander the grounds yourself. So you take a tour of it and you learn all about the architecture and the history of Sleepy Hollow. But if you're here in October, like we are, they have a haunted murder mystery tour. So that's what we decided to go on. And it's very interesting, it's very cool, it's very well done, and you kind of go through the story of Sleepy Hollow, and you have to try to solve the mystery, and it has all actors and stuff, but it really is interesting, so definitely check it out if you're here.
After the tour, the visitor center is a Halloween fan's dream. It's packed with Sleepy Hollow themed merchandise, everything from spooky books and Headless Horseman mugs to vintage style decorations and local treats. If you're into the legend, this place knows exactly how to tempt you. So this is where it all comes together. The legendary Headless Horseman Bridge. The original wooden span is long gone, but the road still curves through the trees like something out of a dream, or a nightmare. Washington Irving placed the final chase right here, and when you stand on it, it's easy to believe the story's not over.
So the next thing you have to check out when you're here in Sleepy Hollow is Beekman Avenue, which is basically the main street, right? And it has that real Main Street Americana vibe, right? So it has a lot of storefronts, little stores, independent boutiques, restaurants, bars, all that stuff. And we are here during Halloween, so it's very busy, very bumping, and everything is completely decked out in Halloween themed stuff, and particularly the Headless Horseman themed stuff. So definitely take a walk around here, you know, grab yourself a drink or grab yourself some food. It really is a cool little central business district.
Beekman Avenue this time of year is something else. Every storefront is in on the spirit. Pumpkins on steps, skeletons in windows, cobwebs draped from old brick facades. It's the kind of place where Halloween isn't just a holiday, it's a full transformation. You've got orange lights glowing in broad daylight, locals in costume like it's totally normal, and a kind of electricity in the air that feels like something's about to happen. It's classic Americana meets Gothic folklore, and it works. Sleepy Hollow doesn't just celebrate Halloween, it becomes Halloween.
So after you go through Beekman Avenue, you have your dinner, you have your drinks, you see all the decorations, I recommend walking all the way west to the Hudson River. It's just beautiful. There's like a park here that you can walk along, and there's the Tappan Zee Bridge, and you get fantastic views across the river into Jersey. And if you look far enough, you could see the entire Manhattan skyline. So it's definitely something to see. You know, you relax from the crowds a little bit and just look out into the river. Okay guys, this was Sleepy Hollow, New York. Now I had a great time showing you this amazing small town and Halloween destination. Now if you haven't already, please subscribe, like this video, share this video, and let me know if you have any questions at all. I get back to all my questions and comments sooner or later. Okay guys, until next time, take care and happy Halloween.